Hello all! Today we are going to explain the chemistry behind the 1997 film Batman and Robin. In the movie, we meet Victor Fries. He is a talented scientist who meets the love of his life, a woman named Nora Fries. When Nora is diagnosed with a rare terminal illness, McGregor syndrome, his life begins to spiral downhill. In a desperate attempt to save her life, he begins to work at a large corporate company, Goth Corp. Fries realizes that he is not able to find a cure, so he finds a way to place her in cryostasis. In order to save Nora, he has to steal equipment from the company. When his boss finds out about Fries stealing from him, he and some of his friends try to kill Fries in the cryolab. This results in an accident, changing Fries so that he can only live in sub-zero temperatures. To counter this, Fries builds himself a cryosuit to keep his body temperature below zero, and Mr. Freeze is born.
But enough of the backstory, there are many questions that need answers. First, what is McGregor syndrome? Not real, so no need to worry, but it is a 4-stage disease that Nora Fries suffered from, resulting in her being placed in a cryogenic stasis. What is cryostasis? It's a fictional idea of putting humans into a deep, cold sleep. In reality, cryonics is the closest you'll get to cryostasis. Cryonics is a practice or technique of deep freezing the bodies of those who have died of an incurable disease in hopes of a future cure. A person preserved this way is said to be in a cryonic suspension, which is illegal to perform on someone who is still alive. One must first be pronounced legally dead, that is, their heart has stopped beating, but some cellular brain function remains. Cryonics preserves the little cell function that remains so that, theoretically, the person can be resuscitated in the future. How is cryonics performed? You can decide to have yourself placed in cryonic suspension, but first you must join a cryonic facility, and then once your heart stops beating and you're pronounced legally dead, an emergency response team comes to stabilize your body, supplying your brain with enough oxygen and blood to preserve minimal functions. Your body is packed in ice and injected with heparin to prevent your blood from clotting. Soon the freezing begins, and first the cryonic team must remove the water from your cells and replace it with a glycerol-based chemical mixture called cryoprotectant, a human antifreeze. Its goal is to protect the organs and tissues from forming crystals. This process, called vitrification, puts the cells into a state of suspended animation. Once the water in you is replaced with cryoprotectant, your body is cooled on a bed of dry ice until it reaches 130 degrees Celsius, completing the vitrification process. Next, your body is inserted into a container that is then placed into a large metal tank filled with liquid nitrogen. Your body is then stored head down so that if there's a leak in the tank, your brain will stay immersed. Cryonics isn't cheap though, and it could cost almost up to $150K to keep your whole body preserved and $50 just for your brain. However, if you do opt for cryonic suspension, expect some company. Several bodies and or heads are often stored together in the same liquid nitrogen-filled tank. Has anyone been preserved using cryonic suspension? Many people are being stored in cryonic facilities, but no one has actually been revived because the technology to do so still does not exist.